Richard.
We're here reporting for Cardiff Student Media, and we're at Sŵn Festival 2016. It's its 10th anniversary, and we're so excited to see all the bands playing.
Hi there, this is Richard Smith reporting Sŵn Festival 2016, second day of filming. We're here with Ivan Moult.
And I'm Liz for Cardiff Student Media. So I was reading on your website that your style is 1970s folk and blues with modern confessional lyricism or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, so I kind of wondered what in your music like defines you into those styles and what influenced you to use those styles.
Well, I think influences, it's sort of the music you grow up listening to, yeah? So my parents decided when I was a kid that we wouldn't have a television in the house. Not for any great reason. I think it was mainly just because they wanted us to be out and about. They weren't like proper hippies, but that was part of it, I think.
Borderline.
Yeah, borderline, definitely. Maybe not in clothes, but certainly in ideas. But yeah, it just meant we listened to a lot of music instead. So I'd listen to sort of Cat Stevens, Nina Simone, and the Beatles, like most people do. But yeah, just when I first moved to Cardiff, there was the folk sort of revival was going along. And I was never going to make it as a heavy metal guitarist, which was my first calling. So I went for folk instead. And it's
bit
just
of a change.
Yeah, exactly. But I think what you said with the confessionals, it's a good thing. There's like a history, I think, of songwriters who just get stuff off their chest and open up and sing about their feelings. All about just telling a story and admitting to things or apologising for things, that sort of thing, maybe. Yeah.
It was interesting when you were doing your live set. It's interesting how you mentioned Cat Stevens. I hadn't thought about that straight off the bat, but now thinking back on it, I heard a lot of it. I actually heard a lot of, do you know a guy called Ray LaMontagne?
Yeah. Big fan of Ray.
Your song, which is on Bandcamp, the second one on your album, I believe. Remind me the name.
Second Guessing,
yeah. That one, I heard a lot of Ray LaMontagne. I was hearing, the vocals were very similar. Do you consider him an influence on you?
Yeah, definitely. I there was a couple of albums that I really listened to for a while, and definitely after like a night after last night, my voice tends to get a bit huskier anyway. So he's got that quality to it. But yeah, he's definite influence.
Any other influences that you can throw in there?
Yeah, I'm quite a big fan of people like John Martin, who was died a couple of years ago, unfortunately, but a great singer-songwriter credited with inventing trip-hop, amongst other things, in a weird way. But Nick Drake are the older guys, but more modern, I suppose. Actually, I don't know how many modern ones there are. It's mainly dead 70s singer-songwriters, yeah.
And, would you say your folk is more, traditional older folk, or are you moving towards a more unique style that you're trying to cultivate?
I try and blend it a bit. My mum did listen to a lot of traditional folk, which I do really enjoy, but I try to make it, maybe the style of guitar and the playing is a bit more traditional, but with it gets a bit poppier. It's the lyrics, I think, the content, I try to keep it a bit more modern. It's not like, spinning down the yard. Something along those lines.
So you're about to release your album, Second Guessing. How did you create unity with your songs in that and decide on your ordering of how it comes out?
I think that website might be a bit out of date because we have released this one, but we're about to release another one.
Okay,
actually.
I see.
But how did we create unity with it? How do you mean? How do you mean?
So rather than it just being a list of your songs.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Was the album a full piece that you thought about?
Like a linear thing, yeah. Yeah, it kind of was. I had been playing a lot and I'd written a lot of songs. We'd done a little EP. But these were a batch written. All of the songs on this album were written within a space of about a year or two, I think. So I think it wasn't, I didn't sit down consciously and think there's a narrative behind them. It's not a concept album. That'll come later. But yeah, I think they're mostly love songs, I think. So that's probably
songs, but dealing with different aspects of love.
Okay. Yeah, exactly, and different relationships, not just your partner, but family and friends, and how that works, I suppose. Yeah.
Cool.
Sorry, just a little bit branching out towards Sŵn here. How are you finding Sŵn so far? You know, I mean, last night you were just telling us earlier you were out at Goody Hugh at the Silent Disco. You had a great time.
Yeah.
Came in very late, clearly.
Did. I was a bit late today. Sorry,
That's
guys.
a little bit rude, you know.
Yeah, it was a good night. We went. Who did we see yesterday? We saw Ireland over in Club. We saw. I've got to try and remember now. I'm on the spot. We saw a lot of good bands. We saw a guy from Billericay, I think his name, James Canty in Dempsey's. He was great. We just sort of stumbled across him, but really, really enjoyed him. Funny guy. But yeah, we ended up at Goody Hugh for the Silent Disco. I think I got to bed about 5 or 6 this morning, so it was a good night. Yeah.
Sounds it for sure.
It's interesting, actually. Just going to quickly go on with that. But when I was going through the set list of Sŵn, there was an awful lot of folk musicians. Is that like something that attracted you to Sŵn at the very beginning? Because you've been here 3 years running now.
Not 3 years. Right, I've played it at least 3 times,
Okay.
but like
Different years.
Yeah, different years.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. I think Cardiff in general just has quite a good sort of folk traditional roots, blues. It's just generally a good music scene. You know, it's a small, I suppose, a small city, but it does support a really good scene. And I'm part of a collective called Bubble Wrap Collective, who put
On your YouTube channel, yeah, I saw. Yeah.
Oh, bucket. Sorry.
We can edit it out.
Yeah, we'll edit that out. We've there's about, I suppose, 6 or 7, maybe 8 bands on there, and we're all sort of folk roots, blues in one way or another. Not all of us actually. Quiet Marauder. They're more of
See
an
them this afternoon, actually.
Yeah, they're really good fun, good friends. But yeah, we all sort of do bits and bobs with each other, and it's a proper collective in that sense, in that we have sort of similar influences, and we go out together and do these gigs together. It's good.
You've played in Cardiff quite a lot as well. I've seen that you played at Moon
We did
a
a
few
gig,
times.
yeah.
Are there other parts of the UK that you play in like frequently, or?
Yeah, I play quite often in Bristol. I was living in I moved to Cardiff and then moved to Bristol and then came back to Cardiff. And yeah, I play quite often over in Bristol as well. But once we've got this second record out, we're gonna book a tour and go up and down, because I've done it with other bands before and been up to Scotland and back, been abroad, been toured in Spain and places. So I try and do that with under my own steam, you know. Yeah.
How would you say the reception's been to your style of music outside of the UK? Well, I mean, in Scotland, in England. I mean, have you been actually in Europe or not yet?
No, I did that with a different band that I was in before. I was a guitarist for them, but
the style was completely different.
Yeah, it was quite different. But you can still get a good idea. There was a song on this album, Lazy Day, that did quite well. We could see it was being listened to all over the world, because so I think it was on the SoundCloud. It gives you a list of all the countries that it's played in, and it was from sort of Hungary to New Zealand to Singapore, Israel. Like, it was nice to see. Yeah, I think it goes down quite well. Yeah, I hope.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you for coming to talk to us.
Thanks a lot.
We enjoyed your session as well.
Cheers.
It was really
Thank you
good.
very much.